Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
An unbelievable home invasion here in Ypsilanti. All of it captured on this doorbell camera, and we've got that video. And guess what they were confronted with the moment they got inside the door.
And we're following breaking news right now as President Trump visits Dayton, Ohio, one of the two cities devastated by mass shootings over the weekend. You're looking at live video from the community impacted by the violence. And also breaking into this hour, the former MSU dean who had oversight of Larry Nassar is sentenced to time in jail. That story topping our news here at noon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Evrod Cassimy. William Strampel, the former dean of Michigan State University's College of Osteopathic Medicine, is sentenced to 1 year in Ingham County Jail. A jury convicted Strampel of misconduct in office and neglect of duty back in July. Jurors acquitted him of a more serious charge of second-degree criminal sexual conduct. Prosecutors said Strampel abused his power to take advantage of female students. One of those students spoke before he was sentenced.
The very first time that this man met me, he asked how old I was, and then he made a deliberate choice to talk about someone his age and my exact age having sex. The second choice he made in that interaction, he decided to joke about the possibility of seeing naked pictures of me. I was alone with him in a room, and there were closed doors. He was in between me and the door. This all happened on the very first day he had ever met me. I have to ask, why was he so confident in thinking he could get away with talking about these things with me in a professional academic setting? And it makes me wonder how many other people he has done this to in order for him to have gained this much confidence in thinking that he could get away with it.
In the meantime, Strampel was not the only former MSU staff member to appear in court today. This is former MSU gymnastics coach Kathy Clakes. She was also in court. Clakes' attorney asked the judge to dismiss the case against her. She's charged with lying to police in the Larry Nassar investigation. Breaking now at noon, Sky 4 taking you above a mess at a Dearborn shopping center. A minivan smashed right through the front of a jewelry store. This is on Chase Road, just south of Warren. Thankfully, police are telling us that no one was seriously hurt. But this crash happened around 10:45 this morning. And right now, investigators are trying to figure out why the minivan driver lost control in the first place. And even more breaking news as President Trump visits Dayton, Ohio, one of the two cities that were affected by those mass shootings over the weekend. As President Trump visits a Dayton, Ohio, gripped by grief in the wake of the weekend mass shooting, El Paso prepares for his visit later this afternoon, and some people are concerned.
I'm open to any incremental step. That doesn't mean from my view, that he should come into a community where he painted a target on our back. He put the target on our back. He needs to peel it off. We were told by law enforcement, be careful, be vigilant. There may be copycat attacks.
I mean, when you have 15,000 people marching up and you have hundreds and hundreds of people and you have 2 or 3 border security people that are brave and great, and don't forget, we don't let them, and we can't let them use weapons. We can't. Other countries do. We can't. I would never do that. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no...
Today, the president shifted his tone.
I am concerned about the rise of any group of hate. I don't like it. Any group of hate. I am, whether it's white supremacy, whether it's any other kind of supremacy.
Well, right now we want to show you some live video from Ohio. The president has a pretty busy day ahead of him. At 12:45, the president and the first lady will leave Ohio for El Paso, Texas. They're scheduled to arrive in El Paso at 3:45 this afternoon. And then at 6:20, the president and first lady will depart El Paso for Washington, D.C. In the meantime, Jay Gray has been following the tragedies in Ohio and Texas. He joins us now from the scene of the first attack in El Paso with a look at how the communities are coping.
Evrod, the emotions here and in Dayton still raw, and today as the president joins them in their mourning, the rest of the country is dealing with the after effects of the latest attacks. Panic overnight in Times Square, the backfire of a passing motorcycle mistaken for gunfire.
People were screaming and crying and climbing over each other.
In Utah, It's a loud noise inside this mall that triggers chaos.
As you can imagine, there's a heightened sense of fear right now with things that have gone on around our country, and people were in a full-on panic.
With the nation on edge, President Trump travels to Dayton and El Paso, cities struggling in the wake of back-to-back mass shootings.
We'll be meeting with first responders, law enforcement, some of the victims, and paying my respects and regards.
The mayors in both grieving communities raising their voices, suggesting the president may get a chilly reception.
He's made this bed and he's got a lie in it, he hasn't, his rhetoric has been painful for many in our community, and I think that people should stand up and say they're not happy if they're not happy that he's coming.
No, I don't think my rhetoric has at all. I think my rhetoric is it brings people together.
As investigators try to piece together how and why the massacres took place, while families of the victims,
it just hurts,
wrestle with the heartache of their loss.
It's a pain that will never go away. It's like I'm living in a dream, and I want to wake up from it, but I can't.
A nightmare that continues to unfold in both cities. Those families now planning funerals and preparing one last goodbye. In El Paso, Jay Gray, Local 4.
We certainly feel their heartbreak. Jay, thank you. In the meantime, we want to get to breaking news now from Wall Street, where stocks are falling, adding to this month's steep losses. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 2% within minutes of the opening bell as investors absorbed a lot of overseas interest rate cuts in the face of continued uncertainty over the U.S. trade war with China. Right now, you're looking live at the big board. You can see the numbers there on your screen. Of course, you'll want to stick with us here at Local 4 for further updates on this breaking story and more. All right, let's turn our attention to the forecast now and the weather. All eyes on the skies this afternoon. Brandon tracking some wet weather for us. We're taking a look at the Detroit River there, and a barge making a little way down the river. It's kind of muggy out there, Brandon, and pretty warm as well.
It is, yeah. I mean, we are in the upper 70s to low 80s. 79 Pontiac, 79 Howell and Ann Arbor. Monroe, Grosse Ile right there at 79. Look at the 80 degrees on the east side, City Airport. Factor in the humidity, feels like 83. So temps on our way from 80 to about 84, which again will feel 2-3 degrees warmer. Tigers, White Sox going at it in about an hour. And again, factor in the humidity, and between now and 3 p.m., especially on the east side, a chance for some showers. Again, we're seeing a little more cloud cover forming here on the east side over southern Ontario and Lake Erie. That's where most of the activity is. But again, couple of showers through the early afternoon. And this cold front, Evrod, will bring some sweeping changes starting tomorrow. We'll have it coming up.
All righty, Brandon, we'll be checking in with you in just a little bit. We want to get to a developing story right now out of Ypsilanti. Take a look at the video here on the right side of your screen. Two young men armed with guns break into a home, and it was all caught on camera. The homeowner was on the other side of the door in shock of what was happening. But as Nick Monticelli reports, he fought off the two, and again, that was all caught on camera.
Good afternoon. This is one of the worst things you can wake up to, the noise of somebody trying to kick down your door as hard as they possibly can. But these two young kids didn't recognize a doorbell camera. As clear as day, recording every minute of this. Take a look at this video. You can see them trying to kick down the door over and over and over again. But that's when Anthony Richmond, the man who lives here, recognized what was going on. And before he could say or do anything, that's when they got the door open.
When they came in, I pushed them. When I pushed them, I was able to I closed the screen door first. Then they was trying to come back in. I closed this main door, and I looked through the peephole, and then that's when, at that point, I seen the young man with the black hoodie. He had a gun up like this at the door.
See, as you can see again on that doorbell camera, these two young men running away as fast as they can, realizing that they are not getting into that house and they're not going to steal whatever it is they were after. And Anthony says he has absolutely no problems with anybody. He's a quiet guy, lives here with his girlfriend, runs a successful business. He has no idea why he was targeted, maybe just because they thought they could get something nice out of his home. But in the meantime, he's certainly hoping that you recognize the two young men in that video. Ypsilanti police are on it, but if you know them, call that police department or call Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-800-SPEAK-UP. In Ypsilanti, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
All right, Nick, thank you. Also overnight, 3 people died after a 2-car crash in the area of Gratiot and 8 Mile on Detroit's east side. The crash was so bad the tow trucks had to be used to untangle the cars. We do expect an update a little bit later today on what might have caused this crash in the first place. Over to Warren now. One person behind bars after an overnight police chase. You look at a video from the scene. It's right there on 9 Mile, right near 9 Mile in Hoover. Police say 2 men stole an air conditioning unit from an apartment complex in the area. And right now, police are still looking for that second person. All right, still to come here on Local 4 News at noon. After mass shootings in Texas and Ohio, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is under pressure from people on both sides of the aisle to take action on common sense gun control legislation. But will he answer the call? We'll tell you what he has to say.
When you think of a police officer, you probably don't think about Officer Hogan right here, but he is very, very much a part of the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. And in fact, he needs your help, right? We're going to talk about this today at 4 and First at 4. I'm going to take you into Hogan's world to show you how you can actually get involved and help him stay in business.